G'day folks, welcome to another edition of Kev's Workshop. My second rail car. Check this out folks. I've got this side temporarily sitting in place and this side temporarily sitting in place. I got my sheet metal back from the laser cutters and I'm still not actually finished with adding the signs on, but I couldn't help my eagerness wanting to show where I'm at. I've temporarily taken the back wall off for the moment. There's Bumblebee's carriage in the tunnel, and technically it's almost identical, but I've taken the back wall off here for the moment because I'm going to try to do a bit more work on that. But this is where the second rail car is at the moment. So got the carpet in, seats are covered with the vinyl work, plus I've got the seat covers over the top of that, which are giant bathroom towels, beach towels. However, the important part is that I now have the galvanised sheet metal sitting in place. Not fixed yet, but that's the next stage of what I'm up to, hopefully. I've got to do a bit more alterations on the doors where the locks are, so the door panels will have to come back off. But hey, you know, it's a start. Now, I'll tell you about the multiple unit cabling. I've got all coiled up here. That plugs in down here, as I would have shown you on a previous edition of Kev's Workshop. So that'll power into the other rail car, be powered from the other rail car into this Anderson plug. So basically, if we come up into here, this is my speed control handhold unit, which plugs in up here. So if we get this around to here for you, that's an 8-pin plug which this plugs into. But you may have noticed up here, because I had a failure in the old speed control, just showing you down here where the new one is. The new one is this silver shiny area down under here. This is the unit that controls the speed and direction. And yes, the wiring does look a little bit messy, but by the time I finish tidying it all up, it won't be anywhere near as messy. Again, we've got an Anderson plug inside, so this way I can physically unplug it from, should there be any issues. And even as a tail car, rather than backfeed any power through the speed control, I'd rather disconnect it for safety. So one pair of batteries will drive one rail car plus this one, and once this one's plugged in, I can unplug the other end and then drive both rail cars off this end. So that's the idea of the Anderson plug. So technically, yep, haven't even put the screws back in yet, but this will give you an idea where the second rail car is up to. And as you can see, I've got the destination board on, and if I was to go tail end, I've got my tail markers on, and if I was to change over to the leading end, let me just get this sorted so I can see what I'm doing. And down here we will have low beam and high beam. So it's all powered up, she's ready to roll, and I'm going to give you guys the view. I've already done a couple of minor test runs up and down my track. Now I know there's a noisy squeak underneath, something I do have to sort out. That will be sorted out hopefully in the next few weeks. So here's my controls. Let's get the forward reverse into forward. I'm using this trim pot for the moment. There's my horn, and she's got some really good pick up and go, but I'm not going to open her up just yet. I'm taking it very slowly. I'm still learning how this control works. If I was to go to tail lights again, just flick this over into reverse, turn the dial, and away I go. There's a very tight raised corner in the front yard, so if anything takes this radius, it'll take any club track. Now obviously there's something underneath the front bogie is that's rubbing on something that shouldn't be. That will be getting sorted out as soon as I possibly can. Right, so that's a quick run up and down my track. As you can see, the multi-gauge track. I'll zoom in here. So the two outer rails being 7 1/4 inch. The two innermost rails are 3 1/2. They're offset to one side because the far left hand rail and the inside right hand rail is 5-inch gauge. And if you look down at the two right hand rails alone, that's roughly G scale or garden gauge, LGB, if you want to call it. So my track can literally handle 4 different scales of terrain. Well, since that last scene you guys have just had a look at, these sides are now fixed in place. Those doors were just sitting there in the last shot. There's the recesses cut for the door locks. Same on the side here. And as you can see, have the carpet in, seat covers are on. The vinyl work's all complete, and as we have a bit of a wander down the length, yeah, I've got the roof done a little bit better since the last shot. Yeah, that's not easy to see with the light glare, but hey, I've still got a bit more work to be done, but it is now a lot closer towards being complete. And you notice in the last shot there was no back wall, because I was actually in the processes of test running it before I got this wall put back on. So I've cut a fresh piece of steel. This will have a doorway vestibule on it. And as you can see down here, down at this point, there's the Anderson plug that's for power from the other railcar or to power the other railcar, depending which control I'm using. My old speed control that I had for both railcars, both of them have failed. There's a component that's gone that's locked it in reverse. So up here, that's the control box, or part of it, for the other speed control. I've got new boxes, and that will house the new pot. That's the speed control pot, forward, reverse. So these wires have got to be cut and put through the plug. Should be there. So all the wiring will run through that plug. It will run into this one, up through the 3 metres worth of cord and into here. So the new boxes will have the existing forward reverse put into the new boxes, and the pot will go into new boxes as well. In the back of here there are 8 wires which would normally get used under the new speed control. I've got to disconnect all this wiring inside here, and I'll be using 6 wires instead of 8, because on here the 3 wires, oops, get this camera down in the right position, 3 wires are forward, neutral and reverse, and there are 3 wires for the speed. It's kind of ironic when you think about it. In Australia the Aboriginal people would love this because it's red, black and bloody yellow. They're Aboriginal colours. So hopefully this is a good sign. But still, I'm going to do some underfloor shots for you. That'll come off the El Cheapo GoPro. I now have my interior lighting in the right position, the right placing. So at night time this lights up all my floor area. These are only AAA battery jobs, magnetic. In Australia you get it from Kmart and Bunnings at one stage. I don't know if you can still get them, I haven't seen them for a while. But yeah, certainly this is going to have to come off. Well, come up to here. Oh yeah, so yeah, that'll have to come off. I'm replacing the whole box rather than modifying it again to suit. So yep, we'll do another floor shot so you can see what's working and how it works. I've done this on a previous episode of Kev's Workshop. This is down at ground level on the front bogie, second axle. There's the pivot point for the seesawing motion. There's the very first axle. And I've discovered I've got a squeaky brake. So that brake caliper is actually rubbing on the boss which is on the axle. But that can be adjusted, and I will adjust it soon. So any squeaky noises, that's where it's coming from. So let's have a look first off at the front bogie, and then I'll do a shot from the rear. As yet there is no underfloor tray. That is to come hopefully very soon. The horn's temporarily mounted on that piece of metal. And just look down here at the back. I'll see if we can get into here for you. There we are. You see the rear brake disc. This camera is not quite good enough to go in underneath, so that's why I'm going to use the old cheapo GoPro. And you'll be able to see how these are working on my line. Well folks, as you see, we're now parked at the back here on a train station. That'll become my electrical cabinet for my level crossing, which I haven't shown you yet. That's coming up eventually. So now you can see you've seen both sides of my rail car. Up the back end here, currently got Bumblebee and its carriage parked up. So we've just parked right at the back here. All I've got to do now is get the decal work on to be exactly like the first one. The other guy that I have in the other rail car, I called him Nicholas because he was a nudist. So I don't know if I'll call this one Ken or if I'll call him late for breakfast, whatever. But yeah, there's a bit more work to be done. I put the spectacle plate over the headlight grill area. I've got to get the cab roof finished off properly, and there's my shadow there, I know. But yeah, certainly that's what we've just had a look at from underneath, and hopefully within the next 2 months I might have this up at Toodyay at their miniature railway where the other one currently is. So this is the second half of a 2 railcar project. Both of these were started in 2017 and here we are in 2026. This one's just about complete. First one was finished around 2022, so this isn't too far off. So we get all this galvo work cleaned up, we get the custom wrap put onto it, and hopefully you people watching my video, if you get to come to Perth, or even if you do live in Perth, yeah, just saw a glimpse of my level crossing, I'll show you that in a sec. But yeah, certainly if you get to come to Perth, in Western Australia, make sure you take a run up to Toodyay if it's between April and November on the 1st or 3rd Sunday of the month, and hopefully you'll see both of them up there. both working as a pair. In brief, as we've come through, I'm just going to swing around to here. Full-size train crossing that was given to me as a present. But what you haven't seen previously is my rail crossing. It's a 1.2 metre boom gate. It's got 7 kilos, or 7 kilograms that is, of counterbalance weight, 3.5 per lead weight, which was cast up. That is the motor box, which does have a motor in it. I've disconnected the mechanism temporarily, so I want to strengthen it up, re-engineering it. These lights do flash. There is a bell to go on top of the post. This will form another video. I started doing the crossing back in 2017 when I started both rail cars, and the funny thing is, well, not funny, but it ended up having to be put to one side while I concentrated on the first rail car. So by 2023 I got back onto this, and that's the stage it's at. So this has been completed to this stage since 2023. But the next part of this project is to get it running properly, and I'll show you all about that in another video. That's where I've got marked out to put some concrete, put it in a slab, and that metal cabinet in the background, that will be my electrical cabinet for the level crossing. So stay tuned folks, eventually this will form another Kev's Workshop video. But at night time, when you've got the lights on it, this thing lights up beautifully with reflections. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this bit of video, and I'll catch you on the next one.